All right, I got this recording. So we've got begin yoga today. And I think we are going to start right where we're at, sitting on the floor. Oh yeah, buddy. Yep, he's going to be in my lap.
Okay. Go get you. Go.
All right. And I think I'm just going to start with a nice, easy side stretch. Pet the cat. And then reach your arms up overhead. And then tip over to the right side. You can set your right fingertips on the mat. Reach your left fingertips over. And open the chest a little so that the shoulder comes back. And then come up to center and over to the other side. And come up to center and release the arms down. And we'll warm up the head and neck and shoulders a little bit. So if you want to take a few shoulder rolls, you can. Rolling both shoulders back. Rolling them forward. And then shrug both your shoulders up to your ears like you're not supposed to do. And then release it all. Let the shoulders drop down and relax. And one more time, scrunch them up really good. And then release them. And then drop your right ear to your right shoulder. You can reach your fingertips down towards the mat to either side of you. If you want to, you can bring your right hand to your opposite ear to gently draw your head down as long as you're not pulling or wrenching on it. If you want to offer a little more guidance. And release your head, let it float back to center, and then drop your left ear to your left shoulder, reaching down through the fingertips to create space between your opposite ear and shoulder. Option to rest that left hand on your right ear, gently guiding it down. And then release the head back to center. Maybe take one more shoulder roll if that feels good. And then we'll do a seated cat-cow. So we'll bring the arms into it as we connect our breath to movement. So we'll start with arms spread out wide and your hands flexed. So your fingertips are actually pointing behind you. And as you inhale, take a little bit of a back bend, lift up through the chest, and then exhale, round your spine and bring your palms together. Interlace the fingers and flip your palms out as you inhale, reach up. And exhale, bring the hands out to a T again with the fingers flexed. And we'll move through again. Inhale, mini back bend. Exhale, round the spine, bring the palms together. Interlace the fingers, inhale, reach up. And exhale, bring the hands back to T. And then we'll move through 3 more times with your own breath. Inhaling, back bend. Exhale, round. Inhale up. Exhale, tee out the arms. And you can go as fast or as slow as you need to with your breath. And this one always feels a little bit more intense to me than doing cat and cow from tabletop, just because I'm not used to moving my arms quite so much. And I know it's good for me. And then after your last one, you can bring your arms down by your sides. Let everything hang loose for a little bit. And we'll move into a child's pose. So if you want to, you can swing your legs out to the side and roll over onto your knees, or you can just rock forward and bring your knees wide to the edges of your mat. Your big toes come to touch. Set your hips back on your heels and reach your hands forward. And find a place where this is a resting pose for you. So if child's pose is still new, or even if it's not, even if it's just one of those days where it feels like, this doesn't feel super comfortable, you can bring your elbows in closer to you. Or if it does feel really good to extend through the shoulders, you can straighten the arms. And you can even rest your forehead on the mat, or you can rest your forehead on a rolled up towel or a blanket, or if you have a yoga block, you can put it on a block. That way you can support the head and neck. And take some time to breathe in child's pose.
Yeah, just the arm ahead. Okay. Okay. Go there. Sure. Good. 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 And while you're in child's pose, feeling your breath, maybe you feel the expansion of your belly or your rib cage as you breathe in and breathe out. Take a minute to recognize what brings you to your practice, what brings you onto your yoga mat today, and And if you want to dedicate your practice today to whatever that is that's brought you here, whatever that reason, if it's a person or a goal, or just the idea of taking time to do something good for yourself. Thank yourself for doing that, for carving the time out of your day and coming onto your mat, because it's a special thing. Hmm. And from your child's pose, start to bring your hands under your shoulders and come up to a tabletop position. So your shoulders are stacked over your wrists and your hips are over your knees. And we're just going to take some organic movement, hinging back and forth. So you're kind of warming up the shoulders and the wrists. You're warming up the hips and the knees. And you can snake side to side and start getting some side bend in the spine. Just moving in ways that feel good, that bring awareness to what's going on with your body today. And then we'll take a little toe stretch. So for toe stretch, tuck your toes, sit back on your heels. And if this feels good, awesome. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it, because some people love this and some people hate it. I love it because I wear a lot of flip-flops, and even in the winter, unless I'm outside, I'm usually in socks or barefoot in the house. So getting to get that stretch through the sole of my foot feels really good. To me anyway. And once you've had enough of toe stretch, you can come back to tabletop and we'll move into our first down dog. So you can move your hands one hand print forward on the mat, spread your fingers wide and press your knuckles into the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, lift your knees, and pedal out your down dog, straightening one leg and then the other. And you can rise up on your tippy toes. You can set your heels down, pushing them down towards the mat. And your heels may or may not set down on the ground, and that's okay. And your knees may or may not be straight, and that's okay. And press your heart towards your thighs, creating a lot of length through the arms and the back. Lengthen the neck. And then we're gonna step our feet up through between our hands. You can have your feet hip width apart if you want, or your big toes touching. Let everything in the top half of your body hang loose. Your arms, your neck, your head. You can sway side to side if you want. Rest the pinkies in your elbows. You can shake your head yes, shake your head no. Shake your head yes again. And you've got an optional little twist you can take here if you're feeling like it. I like to use a block, but one thing you can do is walk your fingertips. If your fingertips are on the ground or if they're up on a block, you can walk them over to one side while you're in this forward fold. As long as it's not hard on your knees. And walk your fingertips over to the other side. And walk them over to the center again. And we're going to roll up slowly, one vertebra at a time. Making sure your legs are a solid base for the top half of your body. And keeping your head and neck and arms relaxed as you roll up. Letting them be the very last things to come up. And when you finally lift your head, let your shoulders drop down away from your ears. You can shine your palms forward and then root down through your feet, your whole foot, the heel, the ball of the foot, the toes. And inhale your arms up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. And this time, when you inhale, we're only going to come up to a halfway lift. So you can bring your hands to your shins or your thighs. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and away from the ears. You might want to suck in your belly button a little bit, but you're going to make the number 7 with your body. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, big move, sweep your arms up overhead to extended mountain. And exhale, forward fold. Your hands can come through heart center. And we're gonna plant the hands on the mat and step one foot back. Step the other foot back. So you're in a high plank and you can always come down to your knees. So you can do high plank on your knees or high plank with straight legs. Either way, you're engaging your core. And then slowly lower down all the way to the mat, belly to the mat. You can drop one foot to the mat if you want. And then moving into a low cobra, you can bring your hands under your shoulders, but without putting a lot of weight into them. Inhale, peel the chest up off the mat. And exhale, release all the way down. You can rest your other cheek on the mat. Inhale, come up a little bit higher. Exhale, release down. And then inhale. This time, bring your elbows under your shoulders and your forearms flat on the mat so that you're just coming into a Sphinx pose. Stretching out your belly. Drawing your heart forward so that even though you're in a back bend, you're not crunching the spine too much in the lower back. You're still allowing space and length. And then take one more breath here. Release back down.
And then bring your hands under your shoulders. As you press yourself up, you're pushing weight into the mat. Push weight back into your knees so that you can come back to a tabletop position. And from tabletop, we'll go to dragonfly. So for dragonfly, you lift your right leg up and you bring it through so you can set it down between your hands. And if it doesn't quite reach, you can pick it up, scoot it forward. That way you can get your knee right over your ankle. And then we're going to rise up. So once you get your balance here, bring your arms up overhead. And then we're going to take a little twist. So you're going to bring your right arm behind you as your left arm comes forward. So you're twisting towards your front leg. And it's just a very small little twist. And then bring your arms back overhead. Release them down. Both hands come to the inside of your front foot. And your front foot is going to scoot towards the top corner of your mat so that we can move into a runner's lunge. And you can stay here. You can grab a block or a stack of books or something and have that under your hands if you want. Also, if this is a little hard on your back knee, you can put a blanket or a towel or something under that back knee to cushion it. And if you want to stay here, you can. If you want to lower down onto your forearms, you can. So you've got options here. And as you stay in this pose, you might find that the pose needs to change, and that's okay. That's actually pretty normal. So if you start up on a block and you say, I'm ready for my hands to come down to the ground, or I'm ready for my forearms to come down, that's okay. Or it might change the other way. If you start down there, you say, my body's telling me that I need to be a little bit more upright right now, and that feels better in my hips. Listen to your body and change as you need. If you've got your forearms down on the ground, start to bring your hands up under your shoulders so that you can push yourself up. And then toe heel that foot back to center. And then once you've got both your hands on the mat, send that front foot back and stretch it out, shake it out. Maybe take some little hip circles if you want. And get some blood flow moving back into that leg. And then we'll do it on the other side. So your left leg comes up, and then that way you can swing it through between your hands. If it doesn't make it, pick it up, scooch it forward. Once you've got your knee over your ankle and you've got your balance, rise on up. And sometimes if I'm having trouble balancing, I'll tuck my back toes to get a little extra stability and grip on the mat.
And then when you're ready, left arm comes behind you, right arm comes in front. So you're taking a gentle twist towards your front leg. And this is one of those poses that it's not so much what it looks like, it's what it feels like. So if you feel like you're opening through your chest and the front of your arms, and if you feel like you're lengthening through your spine and lifting up through the crown of your head, then you're doing it right. One more breath here. And then come back up to center, arms come overhead. Reach tall before you let your hands come down on the inside of your front foot. And then your left foot, scooch it up to the corner of your mat and set up for your runner's lunge on this side. And your runner's lunge on this side might look different because your two sides are different, and that's okay. So decide where you want to be. If you want to come down having hands on the mat, forearms on the mat, find your version of runner's lunge here. Make adjustments if you need to. And then if you've got your forearms down on the ground, bring your hands under your shoulders. Start to press weight into your back leg as you scoot that front foot back to center. And then with your hands on the mat, send the front foot back to shake it out, stretch it out. Make some hip circles. And then come back to a neutral tabletop position. And from here, we'll move into down dog again. Taking your time, moving your hands forward if you need to. Tuck your back toes, lift your knees and your hips. Maybe pedal out your down dog again if you need to. And then lift your right leg up behind you, kicking it out with your foot flexed like you're kicking the back wall. And bring it through between your hands. If it doesn't reach, scooch it forward. And we're going to come up into warrior two. So set your back foot down parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then rise up with your right fingertips pointing forward straight over your front toe. And then your left arm towards the back wall. And then take a minute to sink into your hips. And if your shoulders are creeping up towards your ears, let your shoulders relax down away from the ears. And from here, inhale, exhale, reach forward over your front leg and then tip over into side angle. Now for side angle, you can reach your right fingertips down towards the mat as you reach your left fingertips up towards the ceiling. You can rest your forearm on your thigh gently, as long as you're not setting all of your weight there, if you're just using it to guide yourself. But pretend like someone is giving your left hand a high five, and it's pushing your shoulder back and it's opening your chest. An alternate version, if it's a bit much on your left arm, you can drop that left arm behind you for a half bind. But the goal is still to open the chest, draw the left shoulder back. And that way you also create length in your side bodies, which is space for breathing. Take one more breath here. And if you're taking the half bind, come out of the bind. Let your left hand draw you up and over. Left arm comes down, right arm comes up. So you flip-flopped your arms. Stay low in the lunge with your front leg. And then we're going to come back down to the mat. So cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Lift up your back heel. Send your front foot back to meet the back. And we'll come into a downward dog. And if you decide you want to squeeze a chaturanga in there, you're more than welcome to. Doing your high plank to low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. But I'm just going to skip it. So if you've got that in your practice, you want to squeeze it in, you're more than welcome to. This time we're going to bring our left leg up, kicking it out behind you. Bring it through between your hands, setting up for warrior two on the other side. Once you've got your feet steady, set your back foot down parallel to the short edge of the mat. Rise on up to warrior two. And I'll just flip around so you can see me. This is warrior two on the other side. And take the same time that you did on the first side to settle into your hips. Adjust your stance if you need to. And then on your next inhale, you're going to reach forward over your front leg and tip over into extended side angle. You got the same options. You can reach those fingertips down to the mat. You can rest the forearm on your thigh. You can even grab a block and have that handy if you want to have your fingertips against something solid. And you can bring your gaze up to your right hand. You can look down at your front foot, or you can look straight out in front of you. Whatever feels okay on your neck is what you want to do. Take one more breath here. And let your next inhale pull you up and over. Reverse your warrior. Keep that front knee bent. And then cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Move any blocks or props you have. And then send your front foot back. Option to move through chaturanga or skip straight to downward dog. And we'll do it one more time. We're going to flow through a little bit faster. Inhale your right leg up behind you. Exhale, lunge it through. Set your back foot down on the mat. Rise up to warrior two. And then reach forward, tip over for extended side angle. Reverse warrior. So you're flipping your hands. And then cartwheel down. Send your front foot back to downward dog or chaturanga. And then lift your left leg up. Lunge it through. Take your time setting up your stance. Set your back foot down. Come up to warrior two. And then reach forward, tip over for extended side angle. Reverse warrior. And then bring your hands down. Step it back. You can do your chaturanga. You can come into down dog. And then once you're in down dog, we'll meet in child's pose. And take a minute to reconnect with your breath if you lost track of it. And while you're in child's pose, notice if this feels different than the first time that you did child's pose today. And when you're ready, slowly come up to seated. So as you push yourself up from child's pose, you can sit on your side and swing your legs out in front of you. And extend, let's see. Yeah, I think we'll do a pretzel. So extend your left leg, draw your right leg in, and then place the right foot on the outside of your left leg. And if you want to, you can stay here. Sometimes just by sitting up nice and tall and drawing that bent knee into your chest, you can get a good stretch through the back of the straight leg, or you might feel it more in your right leg and your bent leg. So if you want to stay here, you can. If you want to bend the bottom leg and tuck it in, you can. If you want to go for a little bit more twist, you can start to look over your right shoulder as you're sitting up nice and tall. And without forcing it or wrenching your spine, just let every breath drop you a little closer, a little more into the twist. But you don't have to go for that twist. If you are already feeling a good stretch here or here, then this is where you want to be. And I think a lot about yoga, and especially beginning yoga, is finding out not how to do poses so that they look a certain way, but finding out what feels good in your body and where your body's at. It's a lot of self-discovery. If you've chosen to take a little twist, gently come back to center, straighten the bottom leg, and then release the bent knee out in front of you. You can shake out your legs a little if that feels good, or windshield wiper side to side, loosening everything up. And then draw the left knee up towards your chest. Place the foot on the outside of your right leg. And give your knee a hug. This side might be different, so you might feel it in different places. You can stay here. You can bend that right leg, bringing the heel up towards you. And if you want to try a little twist on this side, you can sit up nice and tall. Start to look over your left shoulder. And if your body wants to twist, you can twist. And release your twist. If you chose to twist, come back to center. If your right knee is bent, extend it in front of you. And then release your left leg out in front as well. Take whatever movement you need. Shake it out. Windshield wiper. And then bring the soles of your feet together as you draw your heels in towards your body. We'll come into cobbler's pose or butterfly pose. And I kind of rock side to side so I can get my sits bones on the ground. And you don't need to force your legs open. You can just let gravity draw your knees out. If just letting them fall out is pretty intense, you can always prop them up with some pillows and blankets and yoga blocks or whatever. So you can make this a nice restorative pose. But if that feels good, if you're getting a nice inner thigh stretch, you can stay here.
And if you'd like to fold forward, lift up tall through the crown of the head, lead with the heart, and gently fold over your legs. If you chose to fold forward, slowly start to use your hands to walk yourself back up to sitting, taking your time. And then use your hands to draw your knees together. Maybe extend them one more time, pointing your toes, flexing your toes. And we'll make our way onto our backs. So however you want to get there, if you want to roll over on your side to get to your back, you can. If you want to bring your knees up into your chest and then your hands behind your thighs to lower yourself down onto your back, you can do it that way. Whatever works for you. And once you're on the back, bring one knee into your chest and then the other. So that both knees you can have hugging into your chest. And then you can take some side to side movement if that feels good. You can use your knees to draw imaginary circles on the ceiling so that you get a nice massage on your sacrum there. And we'll take a happy baby as our last pose before Shavasana, unless there's something else that your body is really crying for. So feel free to do that. Otherwise, take a hold of the outside of your feet, or you can use your two peace fingers to grasp your big toe and draw your knees into your armpits as you kick out with your feet.
And then once you're done with your happy baby or whatever other poses you want to do or movements you need, then you can slide your legs down to the ground and let your feet fall open. Hands can rest by your sides, or you can rest them on your belly. Set yourself up for your Shavasana. You've always got the option to bend your knees and have your feet flat on the ground with your knees knocking together if that feels better on your low back. Once you find your Shavasana pose, start to release any areas of tension. And then thank yourself for the hard work that you do, not only in yoga, but every day, all day. Your body works hard to get you from one place to another. So let this be your time to rest, to let your yoga practice sink in.
You want to kick him out? Well, you want me to take him out so you can relax?
Start to deepen your breathing. Feel the rise and fall of your belly and your chest as you breathe in and you breathe out. And then you can start to bring awareness back to your body. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and your toes, or you can roll your wrists and your ankles, starting to wake everything up again. And taking your time, when you're ready, roll over onto your right side. You can bring your knees up into your chest a little bit and use your arm as a pillow. And then using your hands, push yourself up to a sitting position. You can take whatever comfortable seated position you want. And if your eyes are still closed, you can start to flutter them open and let some light in. You can keep your gaze soft. And we'll take 3 breaths together. Inhales through the nose and big exhales out through the mouth like a big sigh. And as we inhale, we'll lift our arms up overhead. And as we exhale and let everything out, we'll bring the arms down. So we'll do it together. Ready? Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, sighing everything out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. And last one. Inhale. Big breath and exhale. Let it all out. And I hope you feel ready for your awesome Monday. Thanks for doing yoga with me today, especially with my kitty cat in the background. And I'm so glad I got to see your sweet puppy. Thank you. Have a good day. Namaste.